Hello, today I want to highlight two incredible contemporary artists, Kahindi Wali and Najadika Akanlula Crosby, and how they work, and I apologize for the incorrect pronunciation, and how they work can inspire our own portrait and figure drawing. Both of them not only do portrait, but they also do figurative drawings as well. So I wanted to highlight them both. Wiley is known for his vibrant portraits that place modern Black subjects into poses from classical European paintings. His ornate pattern backgrounds contrast sharply with his realistic figures, reclaiming space for Black identity and art history. His most famous piece is the portrait of President Barack Obama. It's surrounded by symbolic plants representing his heritage. Now, Najadika Crosby blends painting, drawing, and image transfers from Nigerian pop culture and family photos. Her layered technique reflects her experience of cultural hybridity, living between Nigeria and the US, and explores themes of identity, memory, and home. As artists, we can learn from their use of structure, symbolism, and technique. Start with accurate proportions, use light, shadow to form and build your portrait, the three-quarter view as you see here, with value before detailing. Think of painting as drawing with color. Or if you're just in my drawing class, just draw this imagery. Make sure that you have a light source, of course, on one side of your subject and let your subject tell a story. So, how can we learn from these artists as we develop our own skills in portrait and figure drawing? And possibly, if you'd like to eventually try acrylic, let's start with the proportions. Now, this is also another nice art piece that I want you to see by Alice Neal. Different type of work. Notice how her figure is not exactly proportionate correct, like with the face, maybe it's elongated or the nose, but it's okay. I want you to try to create it from you. I want you to try to do it as well as you can, proportionately wise. The three-quarter view is what I'm asking you to do for the portrait. So let's start. Let's think about the structure. The eyes are sitting halfway down the head. The space between the eyes is usually one width, eye width, that is. The bottom of the nose falls halfway between the eyes and the chin. Ears typically align with the brow and the base of the nose. From there, observe how the neck connects to the head, and don't forget the shoulder line. It gives your subject weight, posture, and personality. These are common errors in our perception. Look at the actual shape of the eye, the view, the angle. Think of the eyes, they're circular, right? View the white of the eye, the length of the nose, distance from the eye level, and the distance for our eyes, the edges of the nostrils and corners of the mouth. So when you're creating the three-quarter view, watch for common errors like misplacing the cheekbone or eye, the access lines of the face, help you measure angles and maintain symmetry, even when the head tilts or turns. Drawing is accurate. Start blocking in major value shapes, light and dark areas that define form. Acrylic dries fast if you want to try acrylic. Oils don't. Um, Watercolor is something that is good to use as well if you want to try it. Just remember always with any type of medium that you're using, drawing, I think, first is always important in studying, doing three thumbnails before you do the main drawing of the object. but always remember drawing general to specific. Define the planes of the face with clear shapes and avoid jumping into fine, tiny details way too soon. Value structure is what makes a portrait feel three-dimensional. So look at how light falls on the forehead, nose, cheekbones, and where are the transitions? Where's the light coming from? Where are the shadows? Where are the soft or the harder edges? What direction is your light source coming from? Subtle changes in value can express a great deal of emotion and form. Now, these are some master's examples, and this is Rembrandt. He is known for chiaroscuro, master of dramatic light and shadow to convey mood and psychological depth in portraits. Rembrandt was a master of light, and he created several portraits of himself. Chiaroscuro is the light of the use of light and shadow in the drawn, painted representation of an object to the subject of a three-dimensional plane. He used many different ways he created, but I want you to work with your drawing with your pencil or your pastels. Remember these amazing Rembrandts, he used the value of the painting for portrait. Again, he used picture plane, the plane established by the surface of the canvas or the panel or the wall or other support on which an image is painted or drawn. And I'm going to just say one word and a little bit about each of these artists that I picked. Frida Kahlo, this is a three-quarter view, and this is, I would say, introspective. So she explored pain, identity, and her heritage through deeply personal self-portraits. Alberto Giacometti, I would say elongation is what I recall when I think about him right away. Sculpted thin, haunting figures that express existential isolation and fragility. Roy Lichtenstein, I think of right away is comic. The use of bold lines, and he's known for his Ben-Day dots to mimic comic book aesthetics in pop art. Johannes Vermeer, luminous. He celebrated his quiet domestic scenes and masterful handling of light, like in this one in Girl with a Pearl Earring. Jennifer Puchinsky, expressive. She uses bold brushwork and color to create emotive, gestural portrait. These are some of my art pieces. To the left is Rose, someone that I worked with, and to the right is my homage to Andrew Wyeth. So Andrew Wyeth's art piece is to the left, and to the right is mine. This is my self-portrait. These are my students' self-portraits. Notice how these are more face head-on. I think they had more difficulty doing this than the three-quarter view. That's why I suggest the three-quarter view. This is to the left, my friend who created a sculpture of my face. Very nice of her. And this is of a student of mine, face-on portrait. To the left, as you could see over here, Vermeer's Girl with the Pearl Earring. That's a student's work right here. And I would say push more, do more work on it, put more shading, composition. To the right is more of a complete form. And this is of homage to Salvador Dali's portrait. This is another homage to Leonardo da Vinci, my student's artwork again. And this was done with charcoal pastels and really done really well, the portraits. So let's discuss the figure. And I want you to try to think about creating the figure in like 2 minutes. All right. All right. I'm going to try to get you to do this in 2 minutes. So this is Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. And I want you to think about proportions when you're creating, exploring human anatomy. An ideal proportion is what he did here. He blended art and science together. Now, I want you to think about the figure and contraposto poses. So I'm going to jump to talk about it in a little bit when I have more of the figures. At first, I'm going to talk about, like I said, the masters. So this is Leonardo da Vinci Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. This is one of my all-time favorites, Felix Gonzalez Torres. He's very poetic. This is created minimalist conceptual installations and using everyday materials to evoke love, loss, and memory. This is a Van Gogh. To the left, I wanted to show you how he was very rigid with his line work and then he advanced with his right. So everyone advances when they keep on continually creating every day. Hokusaya, he's known for the wave, but I wanted to show you his beautiful drawing of this woman who is playing this instrument. Very great line work. This is a small little part of the painting that George Seurat created. He's known for pointillism. He developed a method of painting with tiny dots, which is called pointillism. The dots evoke color to form detailed images, as seen in a small detail of a Sunday in La Grande Jetée. This is Edgar Degas. He's known to me right away, I think of a ballet. So he captured dancers in motion with loose observational pastels and paintings. Barbara Grossman, she's known, I would think of right away as pattern. I know her from Chautauqua. I went to Chautauqua and she was one of my teachers there, mentors there. Her work integrates figures with bold abstract compositions and rhythmic patterns. This is Paul Klee, and he's known for like I would say more of a blended, playful look. So blended childlike simplicity with abstract forms, often using color and symbolism. Um, and then we have Amy Sherald. She's sterilized, no, stylized, that is, known for grayscale skin tones and vibrant backgrounds and portraits that reframe Black identity. So, how to sketch contraposto figure in 2 minutes. So step one, draw a gesture and create lines. 30 seconds. Just time yourself. Draw a single fluid line of an action from the head through hips to feet. Divide between weight-bearing leg, straight and tense, versus free leg, relaxed and slightly bent, as you could see here. Tilt the hips and shoulders. Now this is step two. Tilt and the hips and shoulders. Take 20 seconds on this. Tilt the pelvis in one direction and tilt the shoulder line in the opposite direction. This creates the classic contrapposto pose that I asked you to do for your figure. Draw two simple axes, lines, one for hips, one for shoulders. Step three, add the S-curve spine. Sketch an exaggerated S-shaped spine, following the scoop of the shoulders down through pelvis into the legs. This helps anchor the twist between upper and lower body. Block simple shapes and proportions. 30 seconds again. Represent the rib cage, tilted opposite pelvis, and pelvis with ovals or boxes. Use quick landmarks, head, knees, pelvis, balancing limbs. Keep the proportions accurately, roughly in mind. Remember to think of the full figure from head to toe is about 7.5 heads high. That's how you can also make sure that the figure is large enough. So again, the proportions are about 7.5 heads high. So taking that head and bringing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that head all the way down the figure and counting that all the way down and making sure that you have enough heads to fill the figure. So 7.5 heads to fill that figure. Step five, refine the silhouettes and limb logic. So again, 20 seconds. Ensure arms and legs follow the flow of gesture. Free arm can rest on the hip or hang gently. Use convex curves around the joints, knees, calves, and shoulders instead of straight lines. Keep muscles organic. Why this works. Contrapposto originated in ancient Greece, perfected in Renaissance art, just like Michelangelo's David or the Venus de Milo. This pose gives a natural S curve expresses weight, shift, and balance, and conveys subtle movement and psychological depth. This is Donatello's innovative, I would think of when I look at Donatello's David, early Renaissance sculpture who revived classical form with realism and emotion, like this David. Now, this is Michelangelo's monumental David. He's renowned for powerful large-scale works like the Sistine Chapel, the Pieta, and sculpture of David. These are some of this is some other poses, but like I said before, the lower over here, the contrapposto, when we are relaxed, we shift our weight between our feet. This means that one hip moves down, and also to keep balance, the opposite shoulder also drops just a little. They over here is exaggerated a little bit, so just so you could see and make your character more at ease and less stiff. These are two of my students' examples of contrapposto pose. So I would say quick summary, gestural line, draft a flow, center line. Remember the weight shift, one leg straight, the other relaxed. Hip versus shoulder access, tilt in opposite directions. The spine flow, the strong curve through the torso. Block shapes, use ovals, boxes for rib cage and pelvis. Proportions, rough, a rough head count, about 7.5 heads tall. The silhouette lines, smooth, convex outlines over joints. So remember, just a fast practice drill. The first 30 seconds, draw just the gestural line and access tilt. Next 30 seconds, add block shapes for torso and pelvis and rough legs. The final 60 seconds, sketch limb outlines and refine curvature and balance. By focusing on an axis tilt, spine flow, and simple proportions, you can quickly capture the essence of contrapposto in under 2 minutes. Practice this as a warm-up or a gestural drill to bring lifelike attitude to your figures. All right, if you want to know any other added tips with clothing or action, let me know. This is another what I just blipped before. This is a remake of Homage to Duchamp's Descending Staircase. Really great work here. This is another homage to Raphael, the School of Athens. Don't forget, value structure to wrap it up. Okay. Both Wally and Crosby use portrait and figure drawing, not just to depict people, but to tell stories. Stories about culture, stories about identity, stories about history. And as you develop your own portrait or figure work, remember to build a strong foundation through proportion and structure, then let your creation and creativity bring it to life.